Well, it is the last official workday of the week, and this is Flow 94.9 FM. It is the flow of God's own state. Last official workday of the week, Friday, and it is the first Friday in the month of December 2020. Welcome to the platform. It is the pinnacle of all discussions where we take a critical look at issues as it affects our dear nation Nigeria, and also as it affects our dear state Abia State. Of course, we're live with visuals on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/flow949fm. All right, this morning we are taking a look at the judiciary in Nigeria. Okay, my name is Michael Oni. Now let's look at the judiciary, because the Anti-Corruption Commission (ICPC) claimed that the judiciary tops corruption index in Nigeria. Well, with about a 9.4 billion naira bribe. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission said that the judicial sector is currently on top of the Nigeria Corruption Index between 2018 and 2020. The Anti-Corruption Commission claimed that about 9.4 billion naira was offered and paid as bribes by lawyers. Well, that's a very serious allegation. 6 female judges, according to the agency, reported that they were offered 3.3 billion naira, while 5 male judges noted that about 392 million were offered them. These details were contained in a report, Nigeria Corruption Index, report of a pilot survey which was made available by the chairman of the ICPC, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, in Abuja.
94.9 FM. We've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
Joining us this morning on the conversation, on the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM, is a senior advocate of Nigeria of the Faculty of Law, Abia State University, Professor Sam Erugo. Professor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome, Professor.
And thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. We're glad to have you also. Sir, do you subscribe to that report by the ICPC?
Of course, the answer is no.
Okay.
Like presented, the report is misleading. And it's unfortunate that the judiciary found itself in this precarious situation in Nigeria, where it looks like it's the weakest of the three arms of government. That could only be the reason for this kind of allegation. For you to interview lawyers and judges only and aggregate the sums they mention and suggest that shows that judiciary is the most corrupt in Nigeria is one of those cases where I think judiciary should take up arms in their own way and get to the roots of this. How can anybody talk about the judiciary and corruption and use only election petition issues as the basis for analysis? What happened to all other matters in our courts? And I hope the public will appreciate the fact that each time you talk about corruption, you can't talk about corruption without talking about bribery. There must be two parties to it. Who is offering the bribe? Who is involved? It must be the politicians, of course. It must be people in government that have money to offer. So for me, I think that report is misleading. Why are rules in the bad forms we have them in Nigeria? Why are Nigerians complaining? Is it not because the executive, they are not doing their work? If you want to get to the nitty-gritty of corruption in Nigeria, just walk along the roads, pass through police. Even army these days collects money without winking eyes. So how can anybody be talking about judiciary? For me as a lawyer, in the last 2 months, I've gotten judgments in 2 courts, one in Abakaliki, another one in Otuocha in Anambra State, without offering bribe. Senior advocates were involved. I didn't offer any bribe to anybody. The judges delivered a judgment in my client's favor without any form of inducement. So ask the average lawyer that appears in the court. It's only when these election petitions that come out that you hear about corruption. So I think I don't agree with him.
We have a serious case of corruption. We're battling in different sectors in the country. Are you saying that there are no cases of corruption in the judiciary?
I'm not defending judiciary. I'm saying they cannot be the most corrupt of the three arms of government.
Okay.
They cannot be. In fact, they are not in a position to be.
Okay, Professor.
Because unless you go to the courts, you don't have to meet with the judicial staff. But in the case of the executive, you meet them everywhere. On the roads, you see police, an agency of government. You see the army collecting 20 naira, 50 naira, giving change. What else can anybody say about corruption? So, I think it's unfortunate that my learned friend Wasanya, who is the Icpc chairman, decided to deal with his own constituency because he's now working for the executive. But I think that's the worst report anybody could think of as far as the judiciary is concerned.
This must have been a great blow for the judiciary in the country. What does this report portend for the judiciary at this point of Nigeria's democracy?
Well, of course, it should force the judiciary to look inwards, to look at the way they're operating and probably change their ways, particularly when it comes to election petition matters. For me, I agree with anybody talking about election petitions as, like we said, they are sui generis, and people do all sorts of things to get what they want because they want political power. So it's also related to the issue of governance and the executive arms of government. So it calls for sober reflection for the judiciary. They should look inwards and fish out the bad eggs. And of course, they should be able to take up, when I say take up arms, I'm not saying they should take guns and ammo, but they have their own weapons. They have contempt proceedings. I hope you know that the judge can initiate contempt proceedings. Yes, against people making
I'm aware of that.
All right, so they should look inwards and utilize what they have to cleanse up the system. I'm not defending judiciary, but I'm saying they cannot be the most corrupt of the arms of government.
Okay, it means there might still be some element of corruption in the judiciary, even though you do not agree with that report.
Michael, one will be deceiving himself in not admitting that there is corruption everywhere in Nigeria. Everywhere. Like the president said when he was assuming power, that if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. Even though he has not done anything since that time, but that is his true position. You see corruption everywhere. It's written all over Nigeria. So I'm not defending the judiciary, but I'm simply saying.
Judiciary as a sector, how can we eliminate corruption in that particular arm of government? Because that arm of government should be the arm that checkmates even the corruption itself.
They should be the arm to checkmate corruption, but are they really empowered? You find out that the judiciary is starved of funds. In fact, among the three arms of government, they are the only ones that don't get their subvention as should be. They have to beg the executive, they have to beg the legislature to release their funds. So they are the weeping child of this government as far as I'm concerned. So, but that is not to exonerate them from whatever they are saying. It simply calls for serious action. And that action is available through the rule of law. Crime and punishment. I always cite crime and punishment as a twin principle in rule of law that should be a panacea to all these ones. Like Professor Wasaya will give us details of people they interviewed, offer bribe, and nothing happened. So what happened to those that offered? Is it not a crime? Have they brought them to book? That also points back to the executive, because it's the work of the executive to charge people like that to court. Until the executive brings them up, the judiciary will be helpless. It's not for judiciary to go fishing out for who gave bribe and who did not give and who collected. It's still the executive that will investigate and charge them to court before the judiciary will be involved. So anyhow you look at it, the executive should be blamed more. And if the judiciary must work, they must fund them, let them be independent. if they're independent, some of these issues will disappear.
So
and they will be able to check.
Are you calling for you're calling for the autonomy of the judiciary?
Simple. If they are autonomous and regulated with among themselves, of course, MBA, other bodies will come up and they will be very effective. But now when the chief judges will be going back in the executive for their funds.
Okay, Professor Sam, let's look at some of the some of those things put in place to checkmate corruption that we have already in this sector, in judiciary, in that arm of government. If they are, how effective are they?
Of course, it's obvious they are not effective. I'm not seeing anybody fighting corruption in Nigeria. It looks like the Icpc will only take action when they are looking for particular persons. They don't go out being proactive to checkmate corruption. Probably they want to start it by hunting the judiciary with these reports. But they should have been fair enough to know where the corruption index pointed to. Of course, the executive. Like I said, if you want to know how corrupt this country is, drive from Umuahia to Aba and see the checkpoints and see collection agents along the road. Even army these days. Are those ones part of the judiciary? Do you see judiciary on the road? They have no business coming out of the road. Only people that have issues come to the judiciary. So I don't know how
judiciary tops the corruption index.
Yes, it's difficult to imagine.
Even though you do not agree with that survey as published by the Icpc, I want us to look at. You agreed to the fact that there are corruptions in every sector of the country, including judiciary. How can we checkmate corruption in judiciary? We can write petitions as far as judges are concerned to National Judicial Commission, and of course lawyers to you write to Nigerian Bar Association. But how effective are these machineries put in place to checkmate corruption in the judicial sector?
Well, each time petitions are written against judges to the National Judicial Commission, you will always see them come up with their reports, and they've ended up dismissing or retiring some of the judicial officers involved. MBA is not that effective because MBA will only deal with their members. But for the Judicial Service Commission, they've been working. But you know, it's only when there is a petition that they can act. Unless there are petitions, they can't work. Like Icpc will come up with this report. They interviewed so many people. They talked about how they were bribed. Have they written reports? Have they written any complaints? Are there any petitions against those offered? Who offered? These are issues. Unless you write petition, unless there are complaints, the National Judicial Commission cannot do anything. They cannot act.
Interesting. Now, I want to take you back to that survey, Professor Sam. Specifically, the report emphasized that most of the incidents relate to election matters. Are you surprised?
Yes. I'm not surprised.
Why?
I'm not surprised. The question now is, who is corrupting who? Who is corrupting who? Why are politicians desperate? And don't forget the fact that the judges and judicial officers, they are same people, same Nigerians. We can't go outside Nigeria to bring people to act as judges for us. There must be relations of one or two politicians. Which is why I earlier said that whenever you talk about corruption, you talk about the giver and the taker. Is that not true? You must talk about the giver. Who is offering now? Who is tempting? Particularly in the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria, where things are not, we are not paying people reasonably for work they are doing. I'm not saying that should be a defense, but the temptation is higher when people are not happy, when they are not doing well.
Interesting. So how can we ensure effectiveness in the judiciary sector, and also how can we eliminate the little, I don't know how many percentage you will agree with that we have corruption in the judiciary sector, even though you do not agree with the survey. How can we eliminate total elimination of a corruption in the judiciary sector in Nigeria?
Well, the checks and balances should be there. and rule of law, particularly crime and punishment. So people should be able to come up. Not when you give and it doesn't work for you, complain. You shouldn't offer bribe to judicial officers. And when they demand, you should be able to report. So people should be punished for crimes they've committed. Until we get to that point where people speak out. If it happens to you, you speak out, you write petition, things will not change. Of course, if people keep complaining, we open up the system, transparency in the system, all these things will be eliminated, even though it will be gradual.
What do you mean by speaking out, Professor?
People should be able to speak. Like the people, the Icpc survey interviewed that said they were offered bribe. Did they speak out? If you ask me, all of them, all the people they interviewed that were offered, they should be brought to give us details. Probably that would be a starting point.
Interesting. We have cases of executive disobeying court orders in the country, and the judges also maintaining a level of suspicious silence. I don't know what will be your immediate reaction to these situations.
Not that the judges are silent. The judges are helpless. That's the way I would describe it.
Helpless?
They are helpless because I hope you know that when judges make orders, it is the same executive that will enforce them. I hope you know that.
Yes.
Police belongs to the executive arm of government. It is the duty of the police to execute orders of court. So when they make these orders and the executive refuse to enforce them, there are nothing the court can do than to let the record be there. History will vindicate the just. Definitely. So for me, it is a matter of value and ethics whether the executives obey orders or not, because the constitution made it that way that they remain the ones to execute and enforce laws, including judgments. So if they abandon their rules, their ethics, the values that should sustain the society and refuse to enforce court orders, then there is nothing the judge can do. The judge can only sit there and cry, but nothing will happen. So we must hold the executive accountable in this, with the present constitution, the current constitution we have. We must hold the executive accountable for lawlessness and disobedience of court orders that we see.
Interesting. Which brings to question of the autonomy again. Do you think judiciary not relying or depending on the executive arm of the government will help in this disobedience of court orders, and of course some other issues under that particular tier of government? Well,
what I think is that in thinking about constitutional amendment, we should also think about sheriff deputies that will be independent of the police.
Okay.
But then, you know, all these issues coming from a history of military dictatorship, where the military rulers were all and all. They will dictate what will happen. Whether you like it or not, you have to accept it. So I think it has to do with the legal framework for the enforcement of orders. For as long as the judiciary will rely on the executive arm of government to enforce their orders, it will not work. So we need to think more about ethics. We need to think about the moral character of people we are putting in government.
All right.
Because if you elect me, if I become the executive governor of a state any day, I only need to make sure that the right people are in the right places. If there are orders, I don't see why I should disobey. You can obey even if you don't like it and challenge it later. You have to obey in the first place. But then that brings up the issue of orders that could be made against the executive through corrupt practices. There are a few cases, some of us are lawyers, we know that there are cases where you find some orders where orders ordinarily you would not expect a court to make.
Okay.
In those cases, there are ways of challenging the orders immediately. obedience to court order remains the hallmark of democracy.
All right. Professor Sam Erugo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and
Senior Advocate of Nigeria nominee.
Going
to become, yes.
All right. Thank you very much for the correction.
We'll have it for, yeah, thank you.
Interesting. And from the Faculty of Law, Abia State University, Professor Erugo, thank you very much for the conversation this morning on the platform.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it. Well, interesting. If you just joined us, it is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. The professor there saying we should think more about ethics. We're talking about that report, the reports from the survey conducted by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses, saying that Judiciary tops the Nigeria Corruption Index between 2018 and 2020. Earlier on, we heard from the chairman of that commission, Professor Bolaji Owasonye. And the survey report claimed that about 9.4 billion naira was offered and paid as bribe by lawyers. 6 female judges, according to the agency, reported that they were offered bribe of about 3.3 billion naira. And 5 male judges also reported that they were offered 309.2 million naira. Well, the Anti-Corruption Commission said the cases of outright demand and offer of bribes were mostly linked to election matters. Well, interesting. And these details were contained in that report. You go check out that report. It's online. A Nigeria Corruption Index report of a pilot survey. And the survey also identifies the specific practices that are contributing to the corruption levels. This is the sort of information that stakeholders require to plan and evaluate their anti-corruption work. Icpc, according to that report, is committed to stopping corruption in the country. Well, we'll take a break now. We'll take a break. That will continue the conversation at the flip side. Of course, don't forget, third tier comes top of the hour right here, and we will continue our focus on the local government election, the forthcoming local government election in Abia State. And definitely we throw the lines open. What do you make of that report? Do you agree with the report released by the ICPC? And what do you make of the conversation I had with Professor Sam Erugo from the Abia State University? It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM.
94.9 FM. We've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
And that actually is forming the basis of our discussion this morning on the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. And that report, the report from that survey, reads, overall, the justice sector had the highest level of corruption with a score of 63. The level of corruption in the justice sector was heightened by stupendously high amounts of money offered as bribes to judges by lawyers handling high electoral and other political cases. I don't know what you make of this, but the lines are very much open. Just as we're taking comments from our Facebook page right now. I have comments already, but you can call me on the studio phone lines. Let's have this conversation. What do you make of that report? Do you agree with that report? Professor Sam Erugo already disagreed anyways. So do you agree with that report? And if yes, what do you make of it? 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Is Ikechuku calling from Umaya?
All right, Ikechuku.
So, based on this report, you cannot rule out that people can bribe or try to take judgment, the judge. But the truth of the matter is that the justice is clear. It's like a football game.
Yes, I'm getting you.
Under the Rule of Evidence Act, if you don't satisfy in a high court, you have a room to appeal. If you are not satisfied in an appeal, you have a room to Supreme Court. Even now, if you are not satisfied, you can review it. And the Supreme Court will have 21 justice in Supreme Court. It's based on the rules. Just that Nigerian executive, within the judiciary, there are difference between corruption and coercion. Constitution arrangement is so bad that even correctional centers and Ministry of Justice is like taking more responsibility in litigation under the Administration of Criminal Justice. You find a situation whereby the prosecutor, who is the Attorney General of the Federation, he is the one in charge of the most litigations. And because of that, sometimes they criminally reduce the heavy amount of evidence that could have led to prosecution of cases.
Ikechuku, quickly wrap up your thoughts, please.
You understand?
Yes, I'm getting
so
you.
If you don't provide enough evidence, there's no way you can prosecute the matter. And if you don't provide a strong defense, there's no way you can be able to defend to logical conclusion. So what I'm trying to say is that our judiciary should be strengthened and make them independent. You're
calling for the autonomy of the judiciary.
Yes?
I said you're calling for the autonomy of the judiciary.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
I'm calling that the office of the office of Attorney General.
All right, Ikechuku. Yes.
We get the Chief Justice of Federation, the Chief Justice of Federation.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much. I got your point. You're calling for judiciary autonomy. Hello. Good morning to you. Welcome to the platform.
Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
I remember Mr. Prince Will from here. No more.
All right, Mr. Prince Will.
Michael, I quite disagree with Icpc's statement.
Okay.
They just made it a way to name a dog. I mean, to name a dog a bad name in order to hang it. They just want to tarnish the image of judiciary. Their findings is quite baseless because there is no act to get actually where that money went to. They just say somebody gave a bribe of such amount and it was being rejected. Is it why they are being established for? They are established there to get facts and prosecute defrauders. Instead of telling us these people gave money and it's being rejected and it is in the name of judiciary, based on that, what do they want us to do? They just want to tarnish the image of judiciary. That is all I know there. So they have not done their job predictably. Let them go back, find the findings, get the defaulters and prosecute them. That is when I will take the report as being based. But for now, that report is baseless.
All right. Thank you for your take. A quick look at that report again says the court staff reported the lowest amount of money offered by bribe to influence the outcome of a judicial process. The total amount of money reported by court staff was about 24 million naira. The document gave the breakdown of the percentage of most responsible for the bribe for the judgment situations, the lawyers, the litigants, the court staff. When I say court staff, we have the clerks, the registrar, and etc. So the judges too, the government MDAs, and no experience on the matter, about 3.06%. I'm going to give you the breakdown per percentage later on this morning, but let's get more reactions. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Michael.
You're welcome.
I'm Mr. Mado Edward, editor-in-chief / Iron Pillar. This morning, I do call from the group and the people.
All right.
But see, the administration of APC under President Muhammadu Buhari is technically under propaganda, improper information. There is confusion. You can't tell me that you catch a thief, you don't bring the original. You catch a thief, you don't bring what he thief. Then, what do you think? You don't think that he will still be prosecuted? This is an allegation. I see it as a practical allegation because if the Icpc are sure what they are saying, today they would have announced those who are the committers. There's no one.
not even the judges, not even the committed, the person who give the bribe. But you just came up and say they just collected bribe. From who? On what case? Look at election has come and gone. Others have come and gone. Up till now, you're not telling us that the judges are taking bribes. Like what happened in 2016 when the judges are indicted. Up till today, none of APC prosecutors came to court and proved 1 point.
Oh, all right. We got your point anyways. Hello, good morning to you.
Morning, Mike Oni.
Yes, you're welcome.
Don Casey guy for real, calling from Doro, bro, in Iguana.
You're welcome, Don Casey.
Thank you, God bless. Thank you. I still not to say that agencies we have in Nigeria must proceed to arms of government. That's that speaker. I still not this issue of corruption. The arms of government are there to be the one to detect. They are the one to decide. They are the one to, if there's any penalty that they deserve, especially judiciary, as one of the arms of government, they are supposed to be the people who are supposed to correct. If there's a mistake happening in this our country, they are the one to correct. But coming to tell me that because police, they are there collecting bribes, they are there doing this and that. Then, have you in any way, if the issue of police being reported to their own detail, to their own place, have they in any way police that police? So the other ones now we see it as a deterrent, or they will not see it and dismiss it from that such act. So what I'm trying to say is this: anybody that is trying to refer it only to police is making a mistake, because the arms of government we have are the ones now making it to be worse. Then another way around, making them as an independence. I mean, somebody said that they have to be an independent. That's the only way they will function. No, even though they are not independent of their own, they have every right to amend, to adjust to the system of the government. Government are the political holders there. If there's any way they are now important, they are the ones to police them. So those ones now who are thinking of doing that will not even come up with any such idea. They will not even go ahead to do so. So I still believe that arms of government, they have a lot to do, especially the judiciary system of government. They have a lot to do. They should not even blame police alone. Police are on their own, doing their own, collecting bribes. But they should be the one to correct. That's
all right. Thank you.
Can be a better place.
Thank you for your take.
Thank you.
I've got messages on the Facebook page. Let's see what we've got here. Joseph P. says, good morning, Michael. It's obvious that the judiciary is now a pillar of corruption, which people think is the last hope of common people. Icpc should please fish out the bad ones and bring back our money. All right, Joseph P. Okay, Chisom Nemeka on the Facebook page also says, good morning, Michael. Hope your day is moving swiftly. Well, the judiciary has become yet another cancer to Nigerians, ranging from nepotism and loss of trust in judiciary. It's regrettable to say that the common man has no hope as far as the judicial system is concerned. The system just needs to be overhauled. All right, keep your comments coming on our Facebook page. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
I want to deposit this one now.
All right, your name first, please.
Ikechuku.
All right, Ikechuku.
Okay, now, the judge, the court has the power to arrest anyone who violated his orders. But in Nigerian case, bureaucracy is channeled only in one person, the office of the president. When the DSS refused to release the suspect, which court again, it looked as if the president went to release the suspect. Is the DG of the institution that should answer to be accountable. You understand? Is the DG, and secondly, Nigerian constitution, under presidential system, our constitution is rigid. It's supposed to be that accused is guilty until accused prove that it's not guilty. While in the parliamentary system of government, it's unwritten constitution. As under presidential system of government, accused is not guilty until proved that accused is guilty. But Nigeria will mop everything together. Our rigid constitution will now say that accused is not guilty. Why is it accused is not guilty under parliament? Because the law is not written. he have to look for a judicial precedent to prove if that accused. But our law is very clear. When somebody has violated sections of the Constitution and you say it's not guilty, and the person will pay years.
Oh, but I got your point. Keep your calls coming. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. Also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. Let's talk alleged corruption in the judiciary. What do you make of the indexed report on Nigeria's judiciary? And of course, what Professor Bolaji Owasonye said. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello?
Yes, you're welcome.
Michael, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, the person calling is Henry Enyoko. I am calling from Umo Gelentega in Isialangwa North.
You're welcome, Mr. Henry.
What I want to say now is that in the first place, I want to thank you and your studio for bringing in quality people like that Professor Rug. The summary of what we got there, I believe him in short. I believe him because the independence of the judiciary and even the police is at stake because the executive, according to what he highlighted, the executive takes the charge of, it's in charge of these people. Even the police cannot enforce the law without the executive. And the judiciary is being, the remuneration of the judiciary and all this and that is by the executive. So invariably, if this arm of government, the judiciary, and even the police are not completely autonomous, in fact, we will be wasting our whole time. These are things we know. The level of corruption, and even the person that was, those who were arguing about the data, the percentage given by the number of, cases, the amount involved,
okay,
and according to the number of cases, that argument should not hold. What is wrong in forecasting? In ordinary permutation, we tell you, we all know that in this country things like that are going on. So arguing against it, for me, it is fallacious.
So you're saying it's a case of who pays the piper?
That is the thing. Who pays the piper dictates the tone.
Mm-hmm.
That is as simple as that. We all know these things. They are hard facts.
All right, Henry, thank you very much for your contribution. I still have a couple of minutes to take more opinions on the program. Now, let's look at that report again. Money involved in the high-level corruption in this sector was categorized into money demanded, offered, or paid. Demands are made by court officials, including judges, while bribery offers and payments are made by lawyers or litigants. Someone is on the line. Yes, good morning to you.
Hello?
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
Good morning to you, Radio Senator.
Yeah, this is Radio Senator calling from Government College, Umuahia.
All right.
I think I accept the report of the Icpc. I think they have done a thorough job there. It's not new for crying it loud. Let us be clear about this. We have three organs of government. What makes government? There are three arms. So that no arms of the government will control or conduct all the activities of government. That is why it was splitted. So that each one will specialize in each of its functions. One is the legislature, and the other one is executive. His duty is to implement the laws. And this one is judiciary. Judiciary is to interpret the laws. And then give punishment to people, which will be implemented by the executive. But the truth still remains this. The judicial officers from 1999 to date, most of them have been eaten by the fabric of corruption. What is intended there, most of the judges or the judgment being produced by the court itself is being founded. In fact, you will laugh about it. Even a kid of 6 years will tell you this judgment is this. But contrary to the judiciary we are seeing in Nigeria, it will be different. So what we are saying is that the ICPC have done well. But they should go further. to produce those who are involved in this crime of corruption, so that they will receive their punishment by the National Judicial Council himself that will punish them, who has the right and power to punish them. And whether to say whether judiciary in Nigeria is free, in the national they are free, but in the state level they are not free, and that's why people are crying. Allow the state level judiciary to be independent, just like the national. Thank you.
All right, Radio Senator, thank you very much for your contribution. Keep your messages coming, keep your calls coming also. Don't forget, we have a thread on our Facebook page with visuals of what is happening in the video for you, in the studio rather, for you on Flow F949 FM. That's on Facebook. I still have the opportunity to take more calls. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Augustine Joseph, calling from Izama. Yeah, Izido.
You're welcome, Augustine.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost that. I think the network did justice to that negatively. So the total amount of money reported, I have mentioned it already. So 78 respondents, constituting 8.7% of all justice sector respondents, reported offers of payment of bribes to influence the judicial process. Out of the 78 justice sector respondents that reported amount of money offered or paid, 63 were lawyers. This number makes up 90.9% of all lawyers surveyed in the justice sector. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, Michael.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm Frank Apata from Umpa.
All right, Frank.
Yeah, from Umpa. Now, the report that the Icpc gave is based on allegation. There's no factual risk in there, because they would have written names of those judges that collected money. They didn't do so. And moreover, they would have brought every section of the economy, both the executive, judiciary, the legislature. They would have brought...
Other sectors were involved. The report is saying that judiciary tops the corruption index of all other sectors. Okay, I'm getting you.
They would have given us names of those people involved, but now they are just alleging. That's the thing.
All right.
Even the ICPC themselves are corrupt.
That's an allegation, anyways.
They are corrupt.
That's an allegation from you. All right. Thank you very much. And that's how far we can go this morning. We do appreciate you. Many thanks to the producer of the program, Samson Eze. The program returns on Monday, which will be another edition and, of course, the first official work day of the week. Today is the first Friday in the month of December. Hope you're preparing for Christmas already. Anyways, it's a couple of days to Christmas. Many thanks for joining, and of course many thanks to the guys behind the visuals you're seeing on Facebook, Solomon and Stanley. You guys are doing well. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Oni.